ओम वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। 98th class. Please repeat. वासुदेवेन्द्र योगीन्द्रं नत्वा ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुम्।
वासुदेवेन्द्र योगीन्द्रं नत्वा ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुम्।
मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय तत्त्वबोधो विधीयते।
मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय तत्त्वबोधो विधीयते। ननु
साहंकारस्य किञ्चिज्ञस्य जीवस्य
साहङ्कारस्य किञ्चित् जीवस्य
निरहङ्कारस्य सर्वज्ञस्य ईश्वरस्य
निरहङ्कारस्य सर्वज्ञस्य ईश्वरस्य
तत्त्वमसीति महावाक्यात्
तत्त्वमसीति महावाक्यात्
कथम् अभेदबुद्धिः स्यात्।
कथम् अभेदबुद्धिः स्यात्।
उभयोः विरुद्धधर्माक्रान्तत्वात् इति चेत्
उभयोः विरुद्धधर्माक्रान्तत्वात् इति चेत् न
स्थूलसूक्ष्मशरीर अभिमानी
स्थूलसूक्ष्मशरीराभिमानी
त्वम्पदवाच्यार्थः उपाधिविनिर्मुक्तम्
उपाधिविनिर्मुक्तम्
समाधिदशासम्पन्नम्
समाधिदशासम्पन्नं
शुद्धं चैतन्यं
शुद्धं चैतन्यं
त्वं पदलक्ष्यार्थः
त्वं पदलक्ष्यार्थः
एवं सर्वज्ञत्वादिविशिष्टः
एवं सर्वज्ञत्वादिविशिष्टः
ईश्वरः
ईश्वरः
तत्पदवाच्यार्थः
तत्पदवाच्यार्थः
उपाधिशून्यम्
उपाधिशून्यं
शुद्धचैतन्यम्
शुद्धचैतन्यं
तत्पदलक्ष्यार्थः
तत्पदलक्ष्यार्थः
एवं च
एवं च
जीवेश्वरयोः
जीवेश्वरयोः
चैतन्यरूपेण
चैतन्यरूपेण
भेदे
भेदे
बाधकाभावः
बाधकाभावः
Last few classes we examined the word Tattvam Asi, the Mahavakya. That the word Tvam, the Padam Tvam and the Padam Tat, what it means, how it conveys Aikyam, that we saw very elaborately. Talked about Samanadikaranyam. Tvam means the immediate meaning, that is called Vachyartha, the literal meaning, Tvam meaning you, the Jiva means Chaitanya. We don't take it as Chaitanya Atma as immediate meaning. As we have Abhimana with body, mind, senses so strongly, therefore Chaitanyam plus Sharira Anasanghata iti. But Chaitanyam is free from Upadhi. Upadhi being Nitya. So Chaitanyam being Purnam. Upadhi being Parichinnam, limited. How can that which is limited can have association or can be confined by the limited Upadhi? Therefore, Tvam means not taking the Vachyartha, we take the Lakshyartha. Upadhi Vinirmuktam Chaitanyam. That's what he says here. When the Shishya raised a doubt, how can there be Abheda Buddhi between Tvam-pada and Tat-pada when the attributes of them are completely different and opposite? Then further the teacher says, Tola Sharira Abhimani Tvam-pada Vachyartha. The immediate meaning of Tvam-pada you is Tola Sharira Abhimani. The one who has got Abhimana with the Stula Sukshma Karana Sharira is called Tola Sharira Abhimani. Shariram itself cannot have Abhimana. There must be something which enlightens the Shariram, which makes the body, all the bodies, Shariratayam, consciousness, that is called Abhimana. It means consciousness plus Tri Shariram. That is the immediate meaning, the direct meaning, Tvam Padavachyartaha. With the direct meaning, you cannot equate Tvam and Tat. Why? Tvam referring to Jiva enjoying limited Upadhi. Tat referring to Ishvara, for whom the whole Jagat is the Upadhi. With Upadhi, how can you equate? With Upadhi, in fact, you cannot equate two human beings. One is so lean, other one is so fat. One may be very intelligent, highly intelligent, other may be very dullard. There are differences in Upadhi. When the differences in Upadhi is so obvious, then how can we equate that? Between Jivas itself, themselves, not possible. How can we talk about equating Jiva with Ishvara? For Ishvara has got the whole Jagat. Jagat doesn't mean the world. Jagat means the whole, that which is available as, that which is available for your objectification. Anything That is called Jagat, the whole cosmos, the universe. The one who has that universe as the body, how big that person must be? How can we equate? So therefore, Tvam-pada Vachyartaha is the immediate meaning, direct meaning. Can we take that to be mean that in the Tattvabodha in the Mahavakya? If we take Abheda Buddhi Nasyat, Abheda Buddhi eva syat. Because Viruddha Dharma Krantatvat accepted, but what we mean is, what the Shastra says is, when he says Tattvamasi, that is why the Vichara to be done, Mahavakya Vichara. What the Shastra says is, Shastra doesn't equate Jiva and Ishvara with Upadhi, minus Upadhi. Therefore, Upadhi Vinirmuktam, Upadhi Vinirmuktam Chaitanyam. That is, Chaitanyam which is free from Upadhi. Chaitanya Atma which is free from Upadhi is what is talked about equated. Tom means minus Upadhi. Minus Upadhi, what is that? Chaitanya. Similarly, Tat is minus Upadhi, Jagat Upadhi, this Maya Upadhi, what is that? Is Shuddha Chaitanya. So, from the standpoint of Chaitanyam, Chaitanyam being one, Ekam, there cannot be many Chaitanyam. Chaitanyam being, because it is Purnam, it is unlimited, it is not limited, not Parichinnam. That which is infinite cannot be many. If there are many infinite, then it is not infinite. So therefore, Chaitanyam is Purnam, it is Aparichinnam, it is infinite. Therefore, equating Tat and Tvam-pada, there Tvam-pada, what we mean is Upadhi Virimuktam Chaitanyam, it is Shuddha Chaitanyam, Atma. Atma is always, it is, Atma is free from Upadhi. Upadhi is Mithya. Upadhi is not a permanent attribute. Atma is consciousness, pure consciousness. That's why we say we had the word pure consciousness, Shuddha Chaitanyam. Upadhi is not Shuddha. Upadhi has got the nature of coming and going. It is not permanent. So, therefore, Shuddha Chaitanyam, we say, pure. Pure means it is minus Upadhi Tyartha. That's what the meaning is. Upadhi Vinirmuktam. That is the meaning of Tvam in the Mahavakya, Tattvamasi, that is the Lakshyartaha. Therefore, he says, Upadhi Vinirmuktam Chaitanyam. And that one more phrase is there, Samadhi Dasha Sampannam. That we have to discuss. What is Samadhi? Samadhi Dasha Sampannam Shuddham Chaitanyam Tvam Padalakshyartaha. So Upadhi Vinirmuktam Chaitanyam Tvam Padalakshyartaha. So Tvam is Chaitanyam, the pure consciousness. Now Samadhi Dasha Sampannam we will discuss. This is where we stopped the last class. The word Samadhi. Samadhi means Samadhanam, absorption. Absorption, that is called Samadhanam. In the Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, in the beginning, we discussed Samadhi absorption. Iti. Dasha means avastha, state. Samadhi Dasha means Samadhi avastha. So, what is Samadhi? Samadhi is when you are completely absorbed in the state of meditation. When you are completely absorbed in meditation, that is you the subject and there is an object of meditation. Now, completely absorbed means when the division, subject-object division goes away. Goes away means there is no division in the Samadhi, the meditative state. That meditative state we are talking about. There are two types of Samadhi, Savikalpa, Nirvikalpa. Savikalpa Samadhi means that state of meditation where there is vikalpa, there is division between the subject and the object. That's a vikalpa. In upasana and all, there is division. You, the meditator, is there, and upasana, devata, is there. So you meditate on the upasana, devata. Subject, object, division is there. So in Savikalpa Samadhi, the division is appreciated throughout the meditation. Whereas in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the division goes away. The experience of the divisionless state of subject and object. That state, the person doesn't have the sense of upadhi because he is one with the object of meditation. So there is no division between the subject and the object. And therefore he doesn't have the sense of upadhi. There is no notion of kinchit nyatvam, limited knowledge. When you are completely absorbed in the object of meditation. For you, there is no object, the object, subject, it has become one in that meditative state. Therefore, the person doesn't have the sense of upadhi. That is what Samadhi Dasha Sampannam. So, then the Samadhi, as I told, whether the Samadhi is Savikalpa Samadhi or Nirvikalpa Samadhi, even when there is division, when you are absorbed in the object of meditation, subject you being there, but there is no sense of upadhi because you are absorbed in the object of meditation and there is appreciation of you, the subject and object, but there is no sense of upadhi. Even if mosquito bites, you don't feel it because you're absorbed in meditation. The subject being there, object also being there, the division is there, vikalpa is there, but still the presence of upadhi is not recognized. But therefore, whether it is savikalpa means vikalpena sagavartate savikalpa, where there is subject-object division. Nirvikalpa means there is no subject-object division. So therefore, whether the samadhi, the absorption, whether it is savikalpa or nirvikalpa, upadhi is not the presence of upadhi. That is this sharira, mana, sangata, indriyani. It's not recognized. Upadhi is not appreciated. And therefore, there is no notion of kinchit nyatvam. There is no notion of limited knowledge. The limited knowledge, what the person has and experiences in the waking state, in the meditative state, it doesn't have that. There is no notion of limited knowledge. Therefore, the limitedness as though suspended for the time being when the person is absorbed in meditation, whether the absorption is savikalpa or nivikalpa, whatever it may be. Therefore, upadhi vinirmuktam samadhi dasha sampannam. So in that dasha, in that avastha, in that state, who are you? I am only Shuddha Chaitanyam. Why it is Shuddha? Because it is free from upadhi. Because it is free from upadhi. Chaitanyam is free from upadhi only, always. And in the meditative state, also it is free from upadhi because upadhi is not experienced, even though you have upadhi, but it is not experienced. Therefore, Samadhi Dasha Sampannam, Shuddha Chaitanyam. I am only Shuddha Chaitanyam. Being free from upadhi, therefore it is called Shuddha Chaitanyam. Therefore, upadhi vinirmuktam, Samadhi Dasha Sampannam, so Chaitanyam. Upadhi changes. Chaitanyam doesn't change. That which changes is not me. That which doesn't change, that Chaitanya Atma, which is free from upadhi, Shuddha, it is me. That is what the Lakshyartha of the Padam Tvam. Therefore, Samadhi Vinirmuktam, when we say, or we say Samadhi Dasha Sampannam, where there is no upadhi. It means you have to remove upadhi. It means upadhi is a problem. It means you have to remove the upadhi to recognize that you are Shuddha Chaitanyam. Is that what the Vakya says? You have to remove upadhi. You cannot remove the upadhi. You want to remove upadhi means that is only death. In death only this upadhi is separated. In fact, it is not even separated in death. Sukshma Shariram is separated from the Stula Shariram. But Sukshma Shariram continues. That is an upadhi. As long as karma is there, Sukshma Shariram will continue and therefore Karana Shariram will continue. When that upadhi also will be dropped, only when you become free, when you get jnanam and therefore moksha, then only. Therefore, when upadhi is a problem, therefore when we have to remove upadhi, means the upadhi physically cannot be removed, but can be removed in terms of your understanding. You need not remove the nama and rupa, the form and name of the pot. Pot is nothing but a name and a form. We need not remove that pot to understand that it is clay. In spite of being a pot, it continues to be the same clay only. Seeing the pot, you see the pot, but I see the clay. I don't see the pot at all. Because pot is not there. Really, pot is not there. Where is pot? What is there is only clay. Pot is just a name and form. So, do you have to remove the pot to understand that it is clay? Even with the name and form, upadhi, it continues to be the clay. So, therefore, removal of upadhi means in terms of your understanding. Before becoming a pot, it is clay. After becoming a pot also, it continues to be clay. The same clay only it is there. Because it has got a name and form, that cannot become a permanent attribute of clay. That doesn't make any dent on the clay. Therefore, why should we attempt to remove the upadhi physically? Physically not possible and it need not also. Therefore, you have to understand that upadhi, by understanding upadhi has to be removed. All this only in terms of jnanam, understanding and removal. So removal only in terms of understanding. That is why we say jnanam removes ajnanam about myself. What is really jnanam? Removal of ajnanam. Removal of ajnanam, then chaitanyam, atma is expresses itself as me myself. Therefore, with or without upadhi, chaitanyam is always shuddha only, shuddham only, pure only. There is no ashuddha chaitanya. Upadhi cannot contaminate chaitanya. Shuddham, Shuddha Chaitanyam, as I said, it's only an expression with reference to upadhi. So therefore, you don't have to remove upadhi to release the chaitanya. Chaitanyam is ever free. It is not confined by upadhi. So you don't have to release chaitanyam from upadhi. And it is not possible also. Therefore, understanding, this cognitive understanding, that removes the notion of that I being a upadhi, that abhimana is that goes away. The wake of jnana. In fact, upadhi is also atma only. Everything atma we say. Everything being atma, everything is consciousness. What about this upadhi, anatma upadhi? That is also atma only. Therefore, how can you separate Chaitanya Atma from upadhi? Can upadhi, anatma upadhi stand alone? If anatma is there, Atma is there, then if Anatma is Satyam, if Atma is Satyam, then there are two parallel realities. When there are two parallel reality, then it cannot be reality at all. There cannot be two infinite things. If two, how can there be two infinite things? If there are two, then one will limit the other. Therefore, there cannot be two infinite things. One is Purnam, other is also Purnam. We cannot say Atma is Purnam, complete. Anatma is also Purnam, we cannot say. When two are Purnam, one will limit the other. When two are Purnam, when you say there is no difference between the two, then only you can say Purnam. You can say Purnam only when there is no difference. Atma is being what it is pure, it is Purnam. And Anatma Upadhi being Nitya, like it is nothing but Namarupa, like the pot, which is nothing but a name and a form. It is clay only. Therefore, you dismiss the name and the form, and the content is clay. Similarly, Anatma Upadhi, Namarupatmaka Upadhi being Nitya, therefore it is also Atma. So, therefore, how can you separate Chaitanya Atma from Upadhi? That way also it is not possible. Therefore, if at all Atma is to be separated from Anatma Upadhi, it is only in terms of understanding. It is only in terms of jnanam. It is just like understanding a clear crystal. Crystal is clear. But the crystal is not clear because of an object which is closer to it. Crystal being clear, to understand a clear crystal as a clear crystal, what you need to do is remove the object which is closer to the crystal. Crystal assumes a color of the object which are placed close to it. Suppose if you happen to observe the color of the crystal to be red. The color of the crystal is red because there is red flower which is placed near the crystal. Red flower is the Upadhi. Because of the red flower, the redness, the color of the flower is transferred to the crystal. So the red flower, the redness of the flower is what is reflected in the colorless crystal. Red color cannot be removed from the crystal because it isn't, and you need not remove also. All what you have to do is you have to remove the color of the crystal from your mind. Replace the red flower by the blue flower. The crystal appears blue. Now tell me whether the crystal is blue or red. It is neither of them. So the color of the crystal to be understood as colorless. How? Cognitively. This is called crystal clear understanding. What is the color of the sky? Color of the sky is colorlessness. It is colorless, but it appears blue because of the scattering of light. Even though you see the sky as blue with your operating your Chakshurindriya, you see it as blue, you know very well it is colorless because you have the knowledge of science, the dispersion of light, and you know it is colorless. That is understanding. Can you remove the blue color, blueness of the sky? You cannot remove it. So when you have cognitive understanding, then you don't have to make any conscious attempt to remove the color of the crystal to understand the colorlessness of the crystal. In the same way, Chaitanyam is always Shuddha. Because of the Upadhi, Shuddha Chaitanyam, what happens? It becomes the Karta, it becomes the Bhokta, it becomes the Ganta, becomes the Manta, becomes the Shrota, becomes the Drashta, becomes Dukhi, becomes Sukhi. So, how can the Chaitanyam can become Karta, Bhokta, Sukhi, Dukhi, Ganta, Manta, Shrota? If it happens, then Atma cannot be Satyam. cannot be Nityam because it keeps on changing its form. Now it is a drashta, seer. After that, it becomes a thinker. Then it becomes a walker. It has some physical action. Then it becomes a bhokta, enjoyer. Sometimes it is happy, sometimes it is unhappy. So keep on going like this. So therefore, if it is so for Chaitanyam, then it cannot be really Satyam. Chaitanya Atma cannot be Satya Atma, it cannot be Nityam. All these words which we understood as Atma as that all become dismissed. Therefore, what we need to understand, Chaitanyam becomes the Karta, Chaitanyam becomes the Bhokta, Chaitanyam becomes a Shrota, Chaitanyam becomes a Drashta, Chaitanyam becomes the Sukhi, Chaitanyam becomes Sukhi, not really, as though only Iva. The word for as though is Iva. Chaitanya Atma being what it is, Atma is Chaitanyam, Chaitanyam being what it is Karta as though, it is Bhokta as though, it is Drashta as though, it is Shrota as though. Sometimes it is a seer, sometimes it is a thinker, sometimes it is a walker, sometimes it is a Sukhi, but it not really. It is as though, it is like the pot which is superimposed on the clay. So therefore, Eva, there is no real change in the Chaitanyam. If there is any real change in the Chaitanyam, Chaitanyam cannot be Purnam. Then we cannot say it is Shuddham. It is, then only we can say it is contaminated by the Upadhi. Therefore, the word as though in Sanskritam, Eva, it's very important. The whole Vedanta is about Eva. Eva means Nitya. Not literally Nitya. Eva means like. Eva means dismissing the superimpositions, this Adhyaropa, whatever the superimposition, the attributes which are superimposed on the Atma, because it is superimposed. You don't superimpose deliberately, it is because of avidya, ajnanam, you superimpose it, and therefore you take yourself to be limited, you take Atma to be the Karta, Bhokta, Ityadi. Therefore, Atma is as though. That only Iva. That Iva, if you remove it, then it is Shuddham only. So, therefore, Iva, otherwise, the Nitya, they're not same, but there is some, in terms of understanding, it should be clear, Iva or Nitya. So, Vedanta cannot be understood without understanding what is this Iva or this Nitya. After studying Vedanta for so many years, people say that I understand Vedanta, but except Mithya, it means Vedanta is not understood. So therefore, Chaitanya Atma becomes the Karta as though, then Karta is Mithya. That is why I say Iva. Karta being Mithya, Chaitanya is Sada Shuddhaha, Sada Shuddham, Sada Purnaha. Chaitanya Atma, Karta Iva, Bhokta Iva, Shrota Iva, Manta Iva, Ganta Iva. Bhavati. So therefore it is Kartrutvam, Bhoktrutvam, Shrotrutvam, Gantrutvam, Mantrutvam, all these are Mithya. All these are Upadhi, superimposed on the Shuddha Chaitanyam, like the redness, what you see on the colorless crystal. The blueness, what we see with our physical eyes on the sky. It's like that. So therefore, Chaitanya Atma is with this Upadhi, the Upadhi being Mithya, therefore, with this Upadhi seems to be playing the role of Karta, Bhokta, etc., but they are Mithya. Therefore, Upadhi Shunyam. So, now we have got two meanings for Tvam. One is the immediate meaning, The other meaning is lakshyartha, implied meaning. Now in the Mahavakyam, therefore the meaning of the word tvam padam, does it refer to vachyartha or lakshyartha? It cannot refer to vachyartha. You cannot take the immediate meaning, direct meaning. We have to take lakshyartha, implied meaning. We have to take implied meaning. Clay is the cause, the karanam. Pot is the product, karyam. Now, when pot is told, you are that, the pot, it gets confused. How can I be the clay? Then what the pot has to do to understand that it is, so the Mahavakya, you are that. What pot has to do is, it has to drop its upadhi to understand that it is nothing but clay. The pot is just nama rupa. Pot and clay are they identical or different? Are they identical or different? The difference is obvious. The difference is obvious in terms of nama and rupa. A lump of clay and a pot. The difference is obvious. How can they be identical? Both are different in many things. But pot is identical with clay in terms of being clay. In terms of the substance, in terms of the reality, the very material out of it only the pot is made of. Therefore, from the standpoint of clay, both the pot and clay are one and the same. They are different from certain standpoints. That is different. But the ignorant pot, the pot is ignorant. Ignorant pot, what did it do? It considered itself as limited with the name and form, and therefore it was dukkhi, being identified with the smallness. Now, when the pot is taught, you are clay. Whereas clay is enlightened, it is always enlightened. So clay can teach the pot, I am clay, you are also made of me only, the clay. Therefore, you are nothing but me, clay as myself. The essential nature of you is nothing but me alone, the clay alone. As pot, you are limited with Namarupa, as though you are limited, but as clay, you pervade everything. Therefore, what is pot? It is Mithya. Clay is Satyam. Therefore, you can enjoy being clay, pervading all that which is made of clay. That is Satyam. You can enjoy being a pot. You can enjoy being a pot, but the nature of you is something but clay. So that is the teaching. So when pot is told Tattvabodha, the pot need not get confused, need not appreciate the duality, Veda Buddhihi, Dharma Krantatvat. So therefore, you are that when we say what is the meaning of you and what is the meaning of that has to be analyzed, should not be taken literally. Vachyartha has to be dropped, Lakshyartha has to be taken. That is what we saw, Bhagat Tyaga Lakshana. I think I told in the class only. That is called, you have to understand Bhagat Tyaga Lakshana, retaining the part of the meaning of the word and understanding, supplying the remaining part. That is Bhagat Tyaga Lakshana. So by that we understand the meaning of the word Tvam. So Tvam is Upadhi Nirmuktam Samadhi Dasha Sampannam Shuddham Chaitanyam Tvam-pada Lakshyartaha. Understood. Now, after Tvam-pada Vichara, now we take Tattvabodha of the Mahavakyam and do the same Vichara as we did for Tvam-pada. What is the direct meaning of the word Tat? The direct meaning of the word Tat is that which is endowed with all knowledge, Sarvajnaha, Sarvajnatva Vishishtaha, Ishvaraha Tattvabodha Vachyartaha. The direct meaning is all knowledge. Ishvara, who is all knowledge, because he is the creator of the Jagat. Therefore, he must be knowing Jagat, because he is the creator. As the pot maker knows how to make the pot, he designs a pot. Similarly, the Jagat maker, Jagat Karta. Who is Jagat Karta? Ishvara. You must be knowing Jagat. Jagat is called knowledge. Therefore, all knowledge. Who is all knowledge? Bhagavan only, Ishvara only. So, Sarvajñatvadi, Sarvajñatva, Sarvashaktimatva, that Adipada, you have to understand, it's all omniscient, all powerful, omnipotent. That's what Sarvajñatvadi, Adipadat, all these things. Vishishtaha, Ishvaraha, the one who is excelled or endowed with this. Now, Vachyartha is that which is endowed with all knowledge, etc. Adipadat, Sarvajñatvadi. What is the implied meaning? Upadishunyam, Shuddha Chaitanyam, Tattvada Lakshyartaha. The implied meaning is Upadishunyam, Shuddha Chaitanyam, that is Chaitanyam free from Upadi. Shuddha Chaitanyam. Here, we need not discuss again the whole thing. As we discussed before, the same thing. Therefore, it doesn't say Evam in the same manner. Evam means in the same manner. Same manner as what before? Sarvajñatvadi Vishishtaha. Vishishtaha means the one who is qualified by the Visheshanam, Vishesha. That is Visheshanam attribute. That which is Visheshana Avachinna is called Vishishtaha. Ishvara is one who is qualified by such attributes called Sarvajñatvam, Sarvashaktimatvam, etc. All knowledge, all powerful, omniscient. That is the Tattvabodha Vachyartha, the immediate meaning of the Tat in the Vakya, Mahavakya, Tattvam Asi. Now you can see the contradiction. Mahavakyam, the Mahavakyam, Tattvam Asi. The Tvam, you, the meaning of Tvam is understood taking the Lakshyata, Shuddham Chaitanya. Now you ask a question. How can I be that? Let me be Shuddha Chaitanya, but how can I be that? That is one thing. Or otherwise, the question also comes, if you don't understand, simply if you say Tattvam Asi, not knowing that, not having done vichara, taking the word Tvam to be with the Sharira Mana Sangata, and if you tell Tattvam Asi, then actually the question will come as it came in the mind of Shishya. How can I be that? Even between any small two things, there cannot be any identity. How can the Ishvara, who is all-knowing, and whereas I am small-knowing, how can I be equated to Ishvara? There is a question of identity between the two totally, diagonally opposite things. Therefore, it cannot be Vachyartha, because there is clear difference. Vedaha asti. But still there is identity. How and where? It must be in the Lakshyartha, not in Vachyartha. Because Shruti says, therefore, it must be true. Therefore, only Vakya to be analyzed. Vicharaha Kartavyaha. So, Vachyartha, we cannot take. Lakshyartha, we have to take here also. Pada. As we did in Tvam-pada, similarly, Tatpadam also. So, Upadi Vinirmuktam Shuddha Chaitanyam. What is the Upadi of Ishvara? Maya is the Upadi. When the Maya Upadi is Satyam or Mithya, it is Mithya only. Upadi of Ishvara is Maya, and that is Mithya. As you dismiss the Upadi with regard to when you did Vichara with regard to the Tvam, similarly you have to dismiss the Upadi. How? As I told you, cannot remove the Upadi physically, you have to remove in terms of understanding, dismissing in terms of understanding the Upadi. So, dismissing the Maya Upadi as Mithya, what is the same Shuddha Chaitanyam, that is Tattvabodha Lakshyartha. Shuddha Chaitanyam, which is Sat, which is Chit, which is Ananda, Ananta, it is not limited, limitless, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. That is Tattvabodha Lakshyam. That is Tattvabodha Lakshyam. Therefore, Tattvabodha Lakshyam is that which is limitless. So that which is limitless, and I am that, I am also limitless, Shuddham Chaitanyam, when we say, then how many limitless Chaitanyam possible? When you say limitless, it can be only one limitless. There cannot be two limitless things. Similarly, when I am also limitless, Jiva is limitless consciousness. Ishvara is also limitless consciousness. So, when you say limitless, it can be only one limitless consciousness. In that limitless consciousness alone, everything exists, including Desha, Kala, space and time. Because of that limitless consciousness alone, all the mithya factors, which upadhi, exist. That limitless consciousness, the one divided and whole, that Shuddham, Ananta, Chaitanya, in which only everything is contained, everything is accommodated. So therefore, there is no division in that one whole Chaitanya. That is why we say Purnam. So where division possible? There can be divisions only between limited objects. Between you and me, there is spatial division. With regard to this body, the body divides, the mind divides. There is a spatial division and there is division in terms of time. I exist at a particular location at a particular time. Similarly, you with your body, mind, senses. What I mean by I is this Upadhi Sagita Chaitanyam. Similarly, you means Upadhi Sagita Chaitanyam. You are located at a particular space, a particular time. I'm also located at a particular space, at a particular time. Time also not same. What is morning for me may be evening for you. For the people in the West, it may be evening. And where I am, you cannot be, because I occupy a certain space. The space is it is occupied. You cannot occupy. My body, my body being limited. Your body also being limited. The limited body occupies a limited space, confined to a particular space. So, where space is there, where spatial difference is there, that time difference also is there. Therefore, all the divisions, time-wise, space-wise, they're all possible because they're all possible between limited objects, because they are limited. Whereas, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, when we say, it is not divided, it is undivided, one undivided whole. So, there are no factors, time factor or space factor, spatial factor available to divide it. There is no second thing to divide it. Even space and time also cannot divide. Space and time, they are very subtle. Even that also cannot divide. Why? We have seen before. Space also is a product of Brahma with Maya Upadhi. Tasmad Akashas Sambhutaha. Akashat Vayuhu Vayor Agnihi. Even in this Tattvabodha itself, we have seen Maya Sagita Brahmanaha. Akasha is born from the Akasha Brahma. Vayu is born. So like that we have seen. So Akasha also is a product. Space is a product. When space is a product, what about time? That also is a product. So they're all the products. Product, it's the karyam being nitya, the karanam being satyam. Therefore, karanam vina karyasya sthitihi nasti. Karyam, when we dismiss means we dismiss it as a separate entity. It is not a separate entity. It is nothing but Brahma. As we dismiss pot, it means pot is not different from clay. That is what dismissing is. Similarly, this Nama Rupa, this Akasha Kala, everything is Brahma only. It cannot divide. So, therefore, anything you observe Nama Rupa, it is nothing but Brahma. That's why we say just Jagat. Nama Rupatmaka Jagat. It is nothing but Brahma. Because Nama Rupa is Nitya, doesn't really add any weightage. Therefore, it is Brahma alone. This Nama Rupa is Brahma. So, therefore, Maya Sagita Brahmanaha Akasha Sambhutaha Akashat Vayuhu iti. Therefore, this Akasha, Vayu, they cannot divide. Brahma is the Nimitta Karanam as well as the Upadana Karanam. Therefore, everything is Brahma. This we have seen. Therefore, can there be anything other than Brahma? No, there cannot be anything other than Brahma. Nothing can be away from Brahma. If that is so, how can there be division? No division is possible. Therefore, the Lakshyartha of Brahma is, Ishvara is Shuddha Chaitanyam, one undivided whole Shuddha Chaitanyam. If that is so, what is that divides myself and Brahma? Between Brahma and me, what division could be there? If at all division is there, the division is due to Upadhi, and Upadhi is Mithya. And Upadhi of me, the Jiva, is Avidya, and Upadhi of Ishvara is Maya. Being Upadhi, does it make any real difference? Does it cause any real difference? From the standpoint of Upadhi there may be difference. It has empirical reality, Vyavaharika reality. But Upadhi being Nitya, there is no difference from the standpoint of absolute. Paramarthika Drishtya, Vedaha Nasti, Paramarthika Drishtya, Jiveshwara Yogo, Abedaha Eva. So, therefore, it is just like this. You are a rich person, and I am not a rich person. Bhavan Dhanikaha, Agam Nirdhanaha. But we both are one and the same. How can we be both are one and the same? With reference to Dhanam only, you are rich. With reference to not having Dhanam, I am Aham Nirdhanaha. But we are the same. So, the reality, the concept that Bhavan Dhanakaha, you have money, it has the same reality as that Aham Nirdhanaha. So money as a reality, that is empirical reality. One cannot become the other. That difference is there. But money is also Mithya. So minus, because money also Agama Payana comes and goes. So removing money in terms of understanding, then what is left out is you as a person and I am as a person. What's the difference between you and me? You are a human being, I am a human being. There is no difference. The difference in terms of what I possess, what you possess, what I lack and what you have. There may be differences, but the differences really doesn't count. So the factor what differentiates you and me, whether it is money or whatever it may be, whether it is intelligence, whether it is money or knowledge, the Vyavaharika, it is all Mithya. The Vyavaharika, it is Satyam, but it is Mithya. It has got Vyavaharika reality. It has got applicability only in the transactory world. But from the standpoint of the Paramarthika, it is Mithya. Similarly, between Ishvara and Jiva, this Upadhi Veda is there. Upadhi Veda is there, where the Vyavaharika, as in the Vyavaharika world, in the empirical reality, Jiveshwara Yoga Vedaha. But from the Paramarthika standpoint, when we understand Upadhi is Mithya, the difference also is Mithya. And Upadhi also doesn't exist apart from Brahma. Therefore, Ishvaratvam, the status of being Ishvara, caused by Mithya Upadhi, and Jivatvam, the status of being Ishvara, caused by Mithya Upadhi, they are Mithya. Mithya Upadhi, not independent of Brahma. It is not a Satyam. Therefore, Mithya, dismiss that in terms of understanding. When the difference is Mithya and dismissing it, then what you arrive at? You have to helplessly arrive at Aikyam, oneness, and that is Satyam. Brahma, Chaitanyam is Satyam. Ishvara's Maya is Mithya, and therefore is Sarvagyatam, all knowingness, Sarvashaktimatam, all are Mithya. Avidya Jiva, Avidya of Jiva, Avidya Upadhi of Jiva is Mithya, therefore it's Alpagyatam, small knowledge, Alpashaktimatam, all these are also Mithya. So, therefore, all that is here is only one Shuddha Chaitanyam. The Upadhi of both the Jiva and Ishvara are empirically true, but essentially it is not true. It is not Satyam. Empirically, I am different means it is just Leela. It is fun. Vyavahara is fun. That is why it is Leela. Nitya difference makes you practical, nothing more. Without which transaction is not possible. Without which transaction is not possible. Therefore, understanding the difference at the Vyavaharika level and appreciating the difference from the standpoint of Paramarthika level, therefore, we can understand the import of the Mahavakya Tat Tvam Asi. So, understanding this non-difference, Abheda, Advaita Jnanam, this only releases a person from the sense of limitation, the sense of bondage. Bondage also is a sense. Really, there is no bondage. Sense of bondage, sense of limitation, sense of insecurity, sense of being displeased yourself. It's all only sense. There is no really bondage, there is no really insecurity. It's all only a sense. It's a notion. It's only a notion. Therefore, notion is avidya, wrong knowledge, ignorance. That has to be removed by jnanam. Therefore, there is no contradiction in the statement in the Mahavakyam Tattvabodha Masi. There is identity. There is contradiction if you take the Vachyartha. There is identity, there is aikyam when you take Lakshyartha. Therefore, only Shastram as well as the Guru trying to teach the person and remove the ajnanam of the Shishya. That way one can understand that I am not a samsari jiva. Even though I live in the world, the samsara, but I am not samsari jiva. What is my nature? In spite of the difference in the Vyavahara, Aham Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, Jagat Karanam Brahma, Aham Asmi, Aham Ishvarosmi. That is the truth. Therefore, the question raised about the Virodha, the contradiction between the Tvam Padam and the Tat Padam, that is between Jiva and Ishvara, is answered. Is answered here by saying all these Viruddha Gunaha, Viruddha Dharma, Kanta, opposite attributes, they belong to Upadhi, they do not belong to Tattva, they do not belong to Tvam. They do not belong to Ishvara, they do not belong to Jiva. What their nature is, Shuddha Chaitanyam. What the nature is, Shuddha Chaitanyam. Therefore, Evam cha Jiveshwar Yogo, Chaitanya Rupena, Abhede, Padaka Bhavaha, Evam thus. Therefore, thus, with reference to Jiva, Ishvara, there are no arguments negating the oneness in terms of their essential nature. Chaitanya Rupena in the form of Chaitanyam, Padaka Abhavaha. Padaka is negation. Abhavaha means absent. There is absence of negation. You cannot negate. No Badaka Bhavaha. That is, you cannot negate the no negating. No Badaka Bhavaha. There is absence of negation. Abhava, absence. Badaka, negation. There is absence of negation. Because Chaitanya Rupena Abhede, when there is non-difference between them, when there is no difference between Jiva and Ishvara, from the standpoint of the Chaitanyam, there cannot be negation, there cannot be objection. Both are Chaitanyam. When free of Upadhi, both are Chaitanyam. Therefore, Abheda, therefore Abheda is the truth. Advaita is the truth. So Abheda, need to understand, Abheda doesn't mean we are talking of two identical entities in the Vyavahara. Jiva and Ishvara are not, from the Vyavahara standpoint, it is not same, they are different. Jiva is Jiva, Ishvara is Ishvara. But what is identity? Brahma alone is in the form of Jiva. The Jiva is one with Vyashti Upadhi, and Brahma is alone is Ishvara with Samashti Upadhi. So Upaditaha Vedaha Asti. That is why when Shishya asked the Acharya also took effort and time to explain the difference explain away the difference and showing the non-difference. The difference is there because of his previous orientation, because of his knowledge in the transactory world. That cannot be dismissed. And in the Vyavahara, the difference is there. But from the standpoint of the Paramarthika, there are three types of realities we talk about. One is Paramarthika, that is absolute, total. Other one is Vyavaharika reality. Other one is Pratibhasika reality. Example for Pratibhasika, you create your dream and the dream world you live. The dream world is available only for you. It's not for me. In the dream world, you have varieties of transaction. Dream world created by you, and you are also a participant in the dream. You are the Nimitta Karanam, you are the Upadana Karanam, you supply the material for the dream, and you are the Ishvara who created the dream, in fact. For the dream world, you are the Ishvara. So that dream world is only exclusively for you. Nobody from outside world cannot participate. You are dreaming, but there are people waking outside world, in the waking world, people are there. For them, it is not accessible. So that is Pratibhasika. So what you experienced in the dream, when you wake up, it is not there. In the dream, you may be a Raja, you may be a king. But when you wake up, it is Vyavaharika, it is empirical reality. And everybody enjoys the same empirical reality. So empirical reality is common for all the jivas. Whereas subjective reality, Pratibhasika, is individual, it is different. Similarly, as you dismiss the subjective reality, the Pratibhasika, that is Pratibhasika Satta, from the standpoint of Vyavaharika Satta, similarly from the standpoint of Paramarthika Satta, this Vyavaharika Satta also can be dismissed. That is what the teaching is. So when we say Abheda means we are not completely dismissing the difference. It means we are not dismissing the difference in Vyavahara. In Vyavahara, the difference is there. But from the standpoint of the Paramarthika Satta, this is Mithya. That's why I give the example of, as we dismiss the Pratibhasika reality from the standpoint of empirical reality, so too we dismiss, Shastram dismisses the empirical reality from the standpoint of Paramarthika reality. We don't dismiss the pot. We cannot say clay and the pot are same in the Vyavahara. The purpose the pot serves clay, a lump of clay cannot serve. I can hold water in a pot, but a lump of clay cannot hold. There is a difference. That is Vyavahara. But the truth is, there's nature, the Svarupa of pot is clay, and the clay is also, lump of clay is also, it is clay. Therefore, there is no difference. In terms of utility, there is difference. But in terms of the essential nature, there is no difference. That is what the Shastram says. When we say Abheda, you have to understand. Why I am saying this, there are some people, some students during our course ask an intelligent question. If everything is Ishvara, if Advaitam is the truth, then why should we go to the temple? Why should we go to the temple? Why should we go and worship the Lord? Not required. Because because there is no difference. Dakshinamurti and myself, there is no difference. Why should I go and worship Dakshinamurti? Then Swamiji got furious and he told, this is why I don't teach all the people. You just bang them, bang the student, left and right. Not understanding what the Shastram says. That is why I gave this example, this very clearly I told this. Appreciating the difference at the Vyavahara. If you don't appreciate the difference, then no Vyavahara is possible. I can't be a teacher, you can't not be the student. There is no can be any transaction. If you and me are same, then there cannot be any transaction. Transaction being has to be there. It means the difference has to be there. In spite of the difference, there is non-difference. That is what the Shastram says. So what Shastram says has to be understood very clearly. What Shastram says is Advaitam. Advaitam doesn't mean you nullify the differences at the Vyavaharika and make it into one common non-difference. That is not the meaning. We'll continue in the next class. ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम।
धन्यवाद गुरुजी।
धन्यवाद गुरुजी।
धन्यवाद
धन्यवाद जी।
धन्यवाद गुरुजी।